Hey, what's good, family? This is Ryan Jackson from Ryan Jackson LLC. Hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. Hope that you have had a blessed and wonderful day. Today is Monday, the first day of the work week. And in the likelihood that you haven't had one of the, if you're having one of those days, or if your day isn't going as well as it should, always remember this. Tough times don't last, tough people do. Keep your hope, faith, and trust in Allah God, and He will see you through. I could definitely bear witness to that. And I'm saying this for myself because the past 3 or 4 days has been tough for me. Just some personal stuff. I'm not going to get into it on here, but just some personal stuff that's going on with me. And this, I'm speaking to myself. When I say that to y'all, I say that to myself as well. So, just the past 3 or 4 days, something that's really been irritating me, is still going on. And, this too shall pass. With that being said, I'm going to get into the topic for this video. So, as we have been seeing, there have been protests across college campuses around the country from Cal Berkeley out here in the Bay Area, UCLA down in LA, University of Texas, Columbia University in New York. Pick a college, and more than likely there have been protests there. A lot of the students are protesting Israel's war with the Palestinians, but they're mainly protesting us funding Israel us funding Israel weapons, giving them weapons to bomb the Gaza Strip, to bomb the Palestinians, leaving many innocent people homeless, injured, and and killed. Many have been killed, men, women, and children. People who don't even have anything to do with what has done to Israel. Yes, I mean I get it. Hamas attacked Israel back in October, on October 7th, killing many Israeli men, women, and children. Okay, I get that. Go after Hamas. Your beef is with Hamas. Many of the Palestinians they don't even support Hamas. A great majority of them don't even support Hamas. They just want to live their lives in peace and harmony, take care of their families, the same thing that we want to do. So this narrative that a lot of the media outlets have been putting out, that a lot of the Palestinians stand with Hamas. That's not true. That's not true at all. I know they were putting a narrative out there earlier in this conflict. That is not true. But we know who controlled the media, the Zionists. This isn't hate. This is the truth. They control the media. They control the narrative. So those who control the narrative, they have the right to put out that message, even if it's not the truth. So but a lot of a great majority of the Palestinian people do not stand with Hamas. They don't have anything to do with what Hamas did to Israel. Nothing to do. But thousands of men, women, and children have been killed, maimed, injured, displaced, uh, left without food and water. It's just sad. It's sad, and a lot of these protests at these college campuses are in response to what our government is doing. So, and I've seen some stuff on here on YouTube from Jason Whitlock. I had the unfortunate chance, out of my curiosity, unfortunately, I I looked at Real Time with Bill Maher, his New Rules segment. Why did I do that? Like I said, that was that was just my curiosity. I used to watch Real Time with Bill Maher religiously the first 15 years it was on. So I think it premiered like in 2003. So from 2003 to 2017, I was always watching it, always watching it. Then I just got tired of it because Bill Maher he's on that liberal train. And then, he say something and then it's like, okay, cue the audience, and then they clap. So I just got tired of that. It's just so orchestrated. Just got tired of it. And then his yes, he brings on, conservative people with conservative views, but they're always chided by his audience. They're booed because they have different views. And I just got tired of that. Just got tired of it. So, like I said, I had the unfortunate out of my curiosity. I just wanted to see what he was going to say. I was like, okay, let me. It's the end of the show. I think it was Don Lemon and some other guy on there. I can't think of his name. They were Bill's guests, and so he did his new rules segment where he go over. He makes he makes jokes, but it's like mixed in with news. And so the last topic on the new rules segment was the protest. And he was like, do these kids know what they're protesting about? They just want to be seen. They just want to be, not just the students, but when they had the protests out here in the Bay Area a couple of weeks back, and they blocked off the Bay Bridge. People need to pick up their children, and you protesting over Gaza over something that you don't have no clue about. What about what's going on with Rwanda or Uganda? How they treating gay people? What about how women are treated in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, and a lot of areas of the Middle East? What about this? What about that? Protest this, protest that. He mentioned the Google employees getting fired. I think it was 28 Google employees who got fired a couple of weeks ago from their job for protesting about the Israeli-Palestinian war. You cannot protest at work. Yes, I get that, because at work you're on the clock. You're on your company's time. You cannot do that on company time. So yeah, Google was right to let them go. However, comma, when you're on a college campus, when your parents or you are paying to go to that campus, you have the right to protest. This happened a lot in the 60s, especially in the mid to late 60s. Well, mid 60s to early 70s. There were protests on every college campus across this nation. University of Michigan, Kent State University. That was a massacre that happened there. University of Texas at Austin, UCLA, USC, University of California, Berkeley, out here in the Bay Area, Ball State University. You name a campus, there was always college protest. There was always protest, from 1964 to 1973, that 9-year, 10-year span, because they were protesting the Vietnam War. A lot of college students were protesting the Vietnam War, America's involvement in Vietnam. We may not agree with the protest. Them protests in Vietnam, looking, just studying about it and hearing about it, I agree with it because it was an unjust war. What I don't agree with, though, is taking it out on the soldiers who were sent over there to die for American colonialism. I don't support taking it out on the soldiers, calling them baby killers. They didn't have a say in the matter. I know, yes, Muhammad Ali, he refused to get drafted. I get that. A lot of people fled to Canada, but a lot of people was like, no, I don't want to go to Canada. I'm gonna stay right here. I don't want to go over here to fight other poor people. Just they had the same mindset as the late great Muhammad Ali. I don't want to go over here and fight other poor people. For what? For American colonialism? No, I'm not going. But you had a lot who, they were got drafted. They didn't want to go to prison. Didn't want to be blacklisted. They didn't agree with the Vietnam War. A lot of these young men that went over to Vietnam, they didn't agree with what was going on, but they were drafted. This government forced them to go over there and die. And the ones who came back, like my dad, rest his soul, they were called baby killers. They were just disrespected. But I blame the media for that because the media's coverage of Vietnam, outside of Walter Cronkite, the media's coverage of Vietnam was just it was terrible. Their coverage of how they portrayed, you know, yeah, in war, unfortunately, people are killed. I don't agree with it. It's sad, but again, it's war. I hate it. I'm not one for war, especially when it's not, approved by our government. We just stuck our nose in Vietnam. We were supposedly supporting the South Vietnamese against North Vietnam, the communists, the bad guys. It was a proxy war gone out of hand, and thousands of innocent people lost their lives. Riddle me this: when America went to war with Japan and Germany and Italy, innocent men, women, and children were killed in World War II. Why weren't those returning veterans called baby killers? Or the veterans who came back from the Korean War, the forgotten war? Why weren't they called baby killers? Innocent men, women, and children were killed in Korea. I'm just saying. But Vietnam, you baby killer, because the most effective devil in America. Your beef should be with the government, not the soldiers. Your beef should be with the government, not the soldiers. Because like I said, they'll call baby killers and such and so forth and so on. My dad included, my uncles, I should say, my cousin, many of my friends, their dads. So it's a sad state of affairs. Before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications of when I do videos on here. But I'll say all that to say that, yeah, I know we live in an age of social media, of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever, and people like to do things for clicks and likes. I get all that. And some people are protesting for that very reason. But many people aren't. And Bill Maher was making it seem like all these protesters they're not doing their research. They're just doing it for the hell of it because it's the flavor of the month. They're just doing it. Yeah, that could be true about some of them, but that's not totally all the way true, Bill Maher. And see, this is why I don't like people like him because he don't see the big picture. Even if you don't agree with it, even if you are inconvenienced, yes, people protest things that I don't agree with, but it's their right to protest. Do you know? And see, people like Bill Maher, once again, they forget. They're so ignorant and they just want to run off at the mouth. They seem to forget America was founded on protest and inconvenience. It was inconvenient for King George. This country right here, these United States of America, was founded on protest and not protesting peacefully. It was violent protest, which led to the American Revolution. The Revolutionary War. Am I right or am I absolutely right? Right here, again, these documents, oh, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. They guarantee us the right to protest. They guarantee us the right to protest. You see it here. There we go. Guarantee us the right to protest. You may not agree with it, but it's not about what you agree with. People didn't agree with what the civil rights marches, the protests, but it was their right. It's not about what you agree with. Well, they're protests. I don't agree with it. They shouldn't do it. No, it doesn't work that way. That's not how this country runs, buddy. You need to go back. You need to go back and read this. Read this right here. Read this right here. It doesn't work that way because it's something that you're inconvenienced. You on your way to work to pick up your child. I get it. It's an inconvenience. Find a detour. Find another way. Yes, I've been inconvenienced by protest many times. When I moved out here 10 years ago, there were protests going on like it seemed like every day, especially late in 2014 with the whole um, Mike Brown incident in Ferguson, Missouri. They were protesting on the interstate out here. I was late for work. I would leave the house 2 hours early. I had to be at work at 3 o'clock. I would leave my house at 1 o'clock and I would still be late. But I would call ahead. I would call before time to my supervisor and say, hey man, I'm leaving the house 2 hours early. I may be late. You know, these protests is going on. You know, I have to, this is the route I'll take. It's nothing I could do about it. It's an inconvenience for me. Yes. Yes, it is. Or it was. It was a huge inconvenience for me. And back then, before I educated myself, I would say, man, these people need to, why are they protesting? They got stuff is going on, man. They blocking traffic. People gotta go to work, yada yada, this and that, this and that, this and that. It was an inconvenience. I remember one time there was a protest in downtown Oakland on my way to work. On my way to work, people protesting. I was like, these people need to sit down. Why don't they go somewhere, man? They blocking. You know, this is an inconvenience. And a lady, I'll never forget it. It was an older black lady on the bus. We kind of had a back and forth, and she was like, "Young man, they have the right to protest." And she mentioned it about the Constitution, but she was right. She was right. I was wrong. She was right. Again, I used to be like Bill Maher. I used to be that ignorant. But you have to educate yourself. You can't stay where you're at. God has given us the ability to learn, to do better, research. We all don't know everything at once. We always at that place where we was that ignorant person. Yes, I'm definitely guilty of it. Definitely. I raise both hands. I'm definitely guilty of it. But you have to learn to educate yourself. You cannot stay in your ignorance or your stupidity for a lot of people. You cannot stay where you at because you haven't grown. Muhammad Ali had a great quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "A man who's 50 years old, who still does the things when he was 20, hasn't It hasn't grown in 30 years, or something to that effect. Meaning, if you're doing the same thing at 50 that you did when you were 20, you you lost 30 years. You haven't grown any. And I know a lot of people like that. I actually have my oldest brother's like that. Yeah, unfortunately, my oldest brother is in his mid 50s, and he's still at like he was in his early 20s. It's sad. It's sad. Sad. But whatever. God bless him. My oldest brother. Sad. Any event, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications on the videos on here. But like I said, we may not agree with these protests, and that's fine. We have a right to disagree without being disagreeable here in this country. And people, I may not agree with their protests. I may think it's silly and dumb. And I'm not going, if they're protesting here, I'm gonna go over here. They protesting over here, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna try to find an alternate route. I'm not gonna be involved in their protest. It's their right as an American citizen. It's guaranteed under the Bill of Rights and under the Constitution, which is part of the Bill of Rights, which is part the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. The Bill of Rights is part of the Constitution. That's what I'm trying to say. They're guaranteed that right. They are. They're guaranteed the right to protest. First Amendment. Matter of fact, let me read it. So I'm sitting here talking about it. I'll just read it. Give me 1 second. Amendment 1 of the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, even though I disagree with the media, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I'm going to read that again. Amendment 1 of the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Page 12 on this book. Page 12. Get it, read it, learn it. It behooves us. And that's what these young people are doing. It's their right. It is their right. Again, I may not agree with it. You may not agree with it. It's not about us. It's their right to express themselves. And people are they don't know let them do it. Yeah, a lot of them may not know. We didn't know everything. We were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. We were wet behind the ears. Yes, young people these days do things for licks, Lord have mercy. For likes and clicks. For likes and clicks, they do. But it's like when they're not doing anything to protest or fight the system, then we get on them about that. When they are, as with these protests, we get on them about that. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's their right. You do have rabble rousers. You do. But guess what? This country, these United States of America, was established by rabble rousers who were the founders. The founders of this nation were rabble rousers. They were a thorn in the side of King George, the monarchy of Great Britain. They were against taxation without representation. They wanted freedom of religion. They wanted to move westward. They got tired of housing the troops, the British troops. Yes, the colonists had to house British troops and feed them. On top of them, force them to pay taxes with their guns, their shooters. They were rabble rousers. The Confederacy, they were rabble rousers. They wanted to protect what was making them money at that time, and that was slavery. Slavery in the South. The North has slavery too, but the North had factories like textile, cotton, shipbuilding, banks. A lot of that was up in the North, but they had slavery too. New York, Philadelphia, Boston, the New England area, Michigan, the Michigan territory. They had slavery. So don't let's not sit up here and say that they didn't, because they did. But it wasn't their main economy. They had other things. Manufacturing was bigger in the North. The South was cotton, was slavery. And who was making the South go, making their economy boom, was us. And the rabble rousers in the South, they went against the Union, and you had the Civil War between the North and the South. The Union being the North, the Confederacy being the Southern states. The rabble rousers, you know, yeah, they protested and it came to war. Thousands of people lost their lives. I don't agree with slavery. Hell no, I don't agree with slavery. Slavery was the worst atrocity in human history. I'm going to repeat that again. Slavery was the worst atrocity in human history. But the South were rabble rousers. They were against Lincoln and the boys. And a lot of them thought of Lincoln like King George. And the Southerners, they thought of themselves as colonists. They wanted freedom to keep slavery. And Lincoln did too, but Lincoln was on record as saying, if I could keep the Union together and keep slavery, I would do it. But he didn't. His whole thing was keeping the Union together. It wasn't because of doing the right thing that he had a moral compass that said, this is wrong with it. What these people are doing. You're enslaving other human beings. It's wrong. It's wrong in the eyes of God. It's wrong. Lincoln didn't give a damn about that. He wanted to keep the Union together. If they could have kept slavery and the Union together, Lincoln would have never would have cared anything about slavery. He didn't give a damn about black people. His job was to keep the Union together. He wanted slavery and to keep the Union together. So he wanted it both ways, but it didn't work that way. So, again, we may not agree with what people are protesting. People protest climate change. They protest this. They protest that. The LGBTQ plus IA community, they're always protesting for their rights. I don't agree with that, but it's their right. I don't agree with what the LG, I don't agree with the LGBTQ plus IA agenda. I do not. I just don't. That's my right. However, comma, it's their right to protest. People protesting climate change, whatever. It's this is as American protesting is as American as apple pie. It is. It's in our nation's history. It's how this nation came about. Do your history. Bill Maher, Jason Whitlock, and many others who have a problem with young people protesting. Whatever the case may be, even if they do it for licks, I keep saying that, for likes and clicks, then so be it. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's an inconvenience, but it's their right. So I mean, I just think people don't like people protesting because it's not something that they agree with. Now, if it was something that they were on board with, then yeah, go ahead and protest. And it's sad, 2024, and people just can't, grasp the concept of people having different ideologies and protesting something that they believe in. Again, like I keep saying on here, I may not agree with it, but it's their right as a American citizen. It's their right to protest. On that note, I think I made this point well known. I hope that I did. Hope that I was clear in my explanation on it. Hit that like button, smash it down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications on when new videos on here. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you, for listening to me. Share this video, share it. Let's have a conversation. And like I said on here a few times, we don't have to agree, but let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Please, let's do that, y'all, especially on topics such as this. In your disagreements, your comments, whatever, don't use emotion, use logic. Use logic, common sense. Don't be disrespectful and emotional. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. But let me know what you think. I could be wrong. Drop your comments. Let's have a conversation. Share this video. Support my podcast and support my YouTube channel here. I need y'all love and support. I cannot do it without y'all. So please continue to support your brother. Brothers as well as sisters, be safe out here. Running errands, picking your children up from school, going to work, wherever you may be going. Be safe. Beware and be aware. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So please, please be safe. Please. Till next time, I love y'all. Take care. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.